Put your faith in the light.
Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This is Lightblade, and well guys, this one is not about retribution paladins, but it's about something really important for the fun of the game, and this is affixes. I've been hearing a lot these days about people talking about removing affixes, making them all positive, and like how they are messing up with the dungeons and dungeon design and all those things. And I do agree with a lot of those things, but I wanted to give you guys my personal take on affixes and what do I think is breaking Mythic Plus at the moment and making it unfun for the players. First of all, you know me, I used to stream a lot of Mythic Plus back in Shadowlands, and that was because I just loved to run Mythic Plus a lot. Like I used to run like about 30-40 keys every week because I ran it with like 3 of my paladins, my main and 2 alts. It was just fun to do keys just for doing it, you know. But now it's not fun to do Mythic Plus. It's actually like a chore. I look at my 8 keys that I have to do every week and I'm like, I have to go through all these affixes on a 20, do the mechanics, try to survive, and it's not fun just surviving, you know. You want to go there and pump, but it's not fun, you know. So this is because, well, there's an overload of mechanics on top of all the affixes, and I think the major thing that broke the camel's back this season, and I think that the major culprit on why affixes are feeling bad, are not the small affixes. You know, I can deal with raging, I can deal with quaking, I don't care. I even can deal with explosives and spiteful and all those things. The major thing this season is the seasonal affix. The seasonal affix has ruined basically everything for Mythic Plus, and I think this is the major problem we've had this season. The overload of mechanics that we have to deal with is because of Thundering. Let me explain. Okay, so Thundering. You know, as an idea, it's a decent affix. It's one of those that Blizzard calls Kiss Curse, that gives you a large benefit if you do it correctly, but punishes you if you don't. And this is my first point. The punishment is just too harsh for failure. The stun by itself is deadly because of all the other thing that is happening at the same time in the Mythic Plus. But on top of that, you take a massive amount of damage. On anything over a 20 key, it's just a death sentence. And if it goes to like an important person in the group, like the tank or the healer, and they get stunned, it's basically a wipe. And this leads me to my next point. The affix is just too intrusive. The key becomes on dealing with this thing all the time while also dealing with all the other small weekly affixes and the new dungeon design, which, let's face it, it has become harder than other expansions. No wonder the older dungeons have higher success rates with Thundering. That's because, well, there's less stuff happening, so you can actually use the bonus damage from the kiss effect of this affix, which also leads me to my next point. The risk is too high for the reward. Trying to get the benefit of Thundering is just too hard, and most of the time it's not worth the hassle, you know, because you can get a bad overlap when trying to get the most of it, and well, you're just going to wipe your group if something bad happens. Like, you know, most of the time people are just going to try to get rid of it as fast as possible. In past seasons, we got the benefit of the seasonal affix 100% guaranteed with minimal intrusion. For example, with the anima affix in Shadowlands, we kill a mini-boss, we get some stats or a defensive boost, and move on. You could choose to deal with an extra penalty on the last boss if you don't kill a mini-boss, but that was pretty simple to do nonetheless. With the Dreadlords, for example, you just kill them and you get a stat. It's pretty simple, you know, like sometimes people skipped the big Dreadlord because it had a lot of health and it did a lot of damage, but for the most part you could also just nuke him with cooldowns and remember to stun the bats so no one gets mind controlled and you could get more stats. It made the dungeon fun because then you could just move on and deal with the dungeon itself, you know, then instead of having to deal with a seasonal affix every single minute. Which leads me to my last point. Thundering makes new dungeon design feel terrible. Dragonflight has great dungeon design. While more complex than in the past, I can see how fun these could be if Thundering didn't exist or was something else. The small affixes like Quaking, Explosive, or Spiteful, even though they are annoying, could be passable if we didn't have to deal with Thundering as well. Having Thundering just causes a mechanic overload and it's a frustrating gameplay experience. And now, well, let's talk about some solutions. Okay, so I don't agree with the total removal of the weekly affixes like other content creators, because I think they do still spice up the keys like every week and make the dungeons a bit different, you know. So these are my ideas on what we could change. First, make the seasonal affix always a positive thing. You know, no kiss curse crap, just make it a bonus that we are going to 100% get guaranteed, while still keeping the old 2 affix weekly affix system that we have currently. My next idea, if Blizzard wants to keep the kiss curse system, we have to remove at least one of the small affixes from the weekly rotation, preferably the annoying ones like spiteful or explosive, you know. So instead of having, let's say, raging, quaking, thundering, fortified, we would only get either raging or quaking plus fortified and thundering, or whatever they make the next seasonal affix. Or the last solution, this one is not my favorite, but it would be the nuclear solution, which is rework the entire affix system. So rework every single one of the weekly affixes. So we still would get 2 small weekly affixes plus seasonal plus tyrannical or fortify, but those small weekly affixes would have to be remade to make them more in line with the current iteration of dungeons they want to create, because there's a lot of more mechanics in these new dungeons that they make. So they would have to like adapt those old small affixes to them. I really hope Blizz does something about Mythic Plus, because if someone like me that used to love doing Mythic Plus just for the fun of it is no longer having fun in there, I can't think what the rest of the WoW population that does dungeons more casually is feeling. And well guys, that's my take on Mythic Plus affixes. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, if you agree, disagree, or have an idea. And well, if you enjoy my content, subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Thanks for watching everyone.